Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching 10th part of What If Naruto and Hinata Were Kidnapped by Raikage. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Konoha Zone 10905, 70 minutes ago. We passed the Konoha wall, get out now. Elite Chunin Jigumo Fuma exclaimed to his platoon as he opened the Dragon J-17 troop side doors. Run, run, run. Kin Suchi and the other 24 sound genins jumped out of their dragon carryall as quickly as they could. It's always better to be on the ground than in the air, waiting for the Konoha forces to blow you up. Thank you very much, Kami. Kin thanked God when she and her platoon arrived safely. Her entire platoon had made it through the hostile environment and landed on a house roof. The air assault training was crucial. She turned around to see other combined ninjas leaping from their dragons. A few died, but the majority landed on houses and took positions to attack leaf ninjas. Jigumo yelled to his platoon, "Everyone get down." Kin squatted down in a knee-jerk reaction when a kunai flew above her head. The sound kunoichi was fortunate, but 3 other genins were not. They were struck by several kunai and shuriken before falling off the house. Jigumo barked orders to his platoon as everyone got their belly on the roof. First squad, go to the front. Second squad, face the wall. Kin and the rest of the second squad crawled to face the Konoha wall. More dragons and buzzards were seen approaching and dropping Iwa mayhem bombs on the wall, forcing the leaf ninjas to flee. The sound platoon commander fired his M47 kunai launcher at a leaf ninja carrying a large scroll on his back. Kill every Konoha ninja, especially those carrying scrolls. Shino, the Neo Sky Combines Marshal, was listening to the first wave commander's reports on board his command Dragon Iron Fist. This is Sound Jonin Arashi Fuma. The Sound and Snow forces successfully landed on Zone 1, albeit with some casualties. Zones 2 and 3 reported similar findings. The Sky Marshal frowned deeply as he looked at the console and saw the number of his lost dragons. The Sky Ninja Village lost over 50 of its 500 dragons, while the Buzzards only lost 5. Despite the fact that the first wave had secured the beachhead, over 10,000 Neo-Combine ninjas were in the Konoha front section. Shingen's 10,000 mounted mercenaries and the second wave of Neo-Combine ninjas would arrive in half an hour. If his Sky Village received a large reward afterward, the loss would be insignificant. The majority of the carryalls returned outside the village to ferry more troops, while the remainder served as gunships and fought alongside the buzzard wings against the leaf forces. With air superiority, the Combine had established a foothold in the leaf village. He expected his Sky casualties to decrease in the future. Shingen Hattori was originally in command of the central section in the first wave, but he relinquished command to Shino. Everyone knew why the Iwa general refused to take command. He wanted the head of the son of the Yellow Flash. That boy had no chance against an ancient demon and the Gravemaker. Soon, the boy would be dead, and Konoha's morale would undoubtedly suffer as a result. Shino smirked, his arms crossed behind his back. Victory was within reach, and nothing could stand in their way now. Zone 3, 0920, 15 minutes later. Anko Mitarashi was always cheerful, and it was unusual to see her with a solemn expression. She was now questioning a kidnapped Aoi Rokusho, a range Onin, and a Konoha traitor. Anko's anaconda had wrapped around him. One of her favorite summons was the anaconda, which could wrap around a victim's body and detect changes in their heartbeat, making it a perfect lie detector. The anaconda coiled tighter each time the victim lied. AAARRRHHH, stop it please. And yes. It's true, we are the Neo Combine led by Orochimaru. Aoi Rokusho admitted in pain, feeling as if his ribs were about to crack from the snake's pressure. And this is only the first wave. More waves are on their way, bitch. You and everyone in this village. First wave. The snake mistress exclaimed, her eyes widening with surprise. There are already over 10,000 enemy ninjas in the village, and this is only the first wave? We couldn't possibly survive another. How many ninjas does this Neo Combine have? She inquired. I don't really know, said the traitor, and Anko's snake coiled the captured Rain Jonin tighter in response. Over 600,000. Anko's eyes widened as she turned to face her XO and fiancé, Iruka Amino. His expression was equally shocked. Leaf now had only 10,000 ninjas in the village. They were significantly outnumbered. Her anaconda devoured the aim ninja with a flick of her fingers. Take this jerk to Inoichi Yamanaka, and you have my permission to eat him after Inoichi has finished with him. No, I insist you eat this traitor. The anaconda smiled predatorily before departing. Zone 3 had become a war zone, with fights, shouts, and screams all over the place. Many buildings had collapsed or were on fire. Konoha ninjas used ninjutsu, AK-16 crossbows, and booby traps to fight their enemy in the streets. She didn't have time to mourn Ibiki's death at the hands of the undead Kushina Uzumaki, as elite Chunin Tanbo had told her. She was the commander of Battalion A, and the lives of her ninjas were important to her. Her forces were stationed in Zone 3. The 1,000-man battalion was up against a combined force of over 4,000 Cloud and Rain ninjas. The worst news was that the undead Uzumakis had not yet arrived. By the minute, the situation was becoming more dangerous. Anko and Iruka examined the walls of the mechanical 8 trigrams formation, which insulated Konoha blocks. Considering the scale of the Neo First Combine's wave attack and the sky is full of their air forces, it is only a matter of time before the Combine breaches the mechanical 8 trigrams formation walls, Iruka said to his love. The snake mistress gave a nod. Yeah, this zone will soon be overrun, and we need to hurry. We need to fall back and link up with Zone 6 forces and wait for the Hokage's reinforcement. Before we go to Zone 6, we need to evacuate all the civilians here to the tunnels. You take all the platoons to evacuate the civies, and I take the companies to defend the zone. You have 20 minutes to complete the evacuation. Hello, exclaimed Iruka before embracing Anko. The couple then kissed passionately but briefly before returning to their duties. Fire Country Western Region 20 minutes later. An earthquake-like vibration shook the ground. There was an audible rumble, and animals rushed to get out of the way of 7,000 people, leaving a large trail of dust in their wake. It was a ruse. The attacks on Konoha's western and northern garrisons were a distraction that fooled us into sending out the majority of our forces, and the village is now vulnerable to attack. The Toad Portal was destroyed as a result of a well-planned attack. Fuck. Jiraiya exclaimed angrily as he finished his thought. Behind the Toad Sanin were Kakashi Hatake, Gai Maeda, Shino Aburame, Sum Inazuka, Hizashi Hyuga, Shizune, and 6,000 Leaf ninjas, including the Western Garrison forces, all running toward Konoha, their home village. Everyone was running at full speed, and they were all thinking the same thing. That bastard Orochimaru had over 60,000 strong ninjas from many villages, and many powerful allies like the Iwa Gravemaker, and he even has that notorious yokai called Satori and undead Uzumakis attacking our home. Are my family and friends all right? Please protect them, Kami. Among the homecoming Konoha forces were 1,000 sand ninjas. Initially, the Suna Battalion's mission was to assist the Konoha Western Garrison, but the mission has now changed to reinforce and protect their Kazekage and Wind Daimyo in Konoha. The 2,000-strong sand expedition force against Kumo had already been launched the day before. They had just crossed the Firewind border and were on their way to meet Jiraiya's forces. Another piece of good news was that the hidden sand village had mobilized her ninja army. In the north, Asuma Sarutobi had split his battle group in half and was rushing back home with most of his ninjas and Kurenai Yuhi. The second half of his battle group must remain to assist the northern garrison in its fight against Kumo forces. But we are still vastly outnumbered by the 60,000-strong combine. We need all the assistance we can get. Jiraiya pondered. Lord Jiraiya! Exclaimed Hisashi Hyuga and everyone else. We received word that Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze killed Iwa Gravemaker Shingen Hattori and the Millennium Demon Satori by himself. The Sanins and copycat ninjas' eyes widened in disbelief, and everyone cheered. Amazing. Unbelievable. Of course he could, after all, he is the son of Yellow Flash and Red Death. He used the Flying Thunder God technique, according to the message. Hiraishin has been reborn. The Iwa Gravemaker has finally died. Dead, dead, dead. Exclaimed a Chunin. The Gravemaker took the lives of several of his loved ones. The Golden Slayer will lead Konoha to victory. Exclaimed a Leaf Kunoichi, to which everyone around her applauded. Jiraiya and Kakashi exchanged glances and smiles, and everyone's spirits had skyrocketed. Hey guy, the Sublime Green Beast said to the copycat ninja. What's up, Kakashi? How about we race back to Konoha? A bolt of lightning flashed across Guy's eyes. Yosh, a challenge. For the first time, my eternal rival challenges me. How can I turn it down? Let's race back home. The copycat ninja and the Sublime Green Beast left a large trail of dust. Many Konoha ninjas began to shout, I'm joining the race as well. Me too. I bet 5,000 Ryos I'll get to Konoha before you. A Chunin exclaimed to his companions. They all began to wager on who would arrive first in Konoha. Everyone running back to their village was greeted with a smile from the Sannin. I believe we can get home in 7 hours. Stay strong, Haim, Naruto, Sensei, and everyone else. We're returning. Lord Jiraiya. Shizune exclaimed, running alongside the Sannin. We received a message from Nadeshiko village. Lady Uzume is leading a force of 900 kunoichis to assist us. We have more ninjas. The medic leader's face became puzzled. And she also stated that as a reward, she expects you to keep your promise to her? Shizune couldn't help but wonder what kind of promise Jiraiya had made with the leader of the Nadeshiko village after seeing him visibly gulp and his face turn pale. According to the message from home, Naruto killed Satori with innovative Fuinjutsu, and he is an S-rank seal master. He can undoubtedly free Neji and Aoi from their shackles. Hisashi's smile faded as he worried about his children's safety in the face of the Combine's attack. The Neo Combine was made up of numerous ninja villages, including a rogue Iwa faction led by the now-dead Gravemaker and Kumo. Kumo. Hisashi's face turned to horror as he realized the ramifications of Danzo's deed at the Fire New Network a few days ago. If the FNN incident did not happen, Kumo's scandals would have become public, and they would have surrendered and refused to join Orochimaru's Neo Combine. Without Kumo, the Snake Sannin would not attack Konoha. The Hyuga father believed he had a lot of Leaf comrades' blood on his hands. It was me and Danzo who allowed this Konoha attack to happen. Dear Kami, what had I done? 10-10. Despite Naruto's victory and the arrival of Kakashi and Asuma's battle groups, the situation in Konoha was deteriorating by the minute. The enemy forces were unrelenting in their assault. The wall is coming down. Sky Marshal Shino yelled to his forces over the radio, warning the combined ninjas of the impending threat. Kin looked up and noticed spiderweb crack all over the great Konoha walls. Debris and rubble were falling from the 3-kilometer-wide, 100-meter-high walls. The Neo-Combine vanguards had been attacking the walls for the past 30 minutes in order to clear the way for their main army. The Sky Air Forces bombed from above, while ground demolition squads used mayhem bombs to sabotage the wall bottoms. The walls eventually gave way and began to collapse outward. To protect their own forces, the Neo-Combine had made the walls fall outside the village. However, everyone instinctively put their hands on their heads. A loud crashing sound was heard by flocks of birds roosting on top of Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha in the Valley of the End. It scared them, and they flew away with startled chirps and caws. The dust cleared in about 2 minutes. Kin breathed a sigh of relief when she noticed the Neo Next Combine's wave had arrived. 10,000 ninjas and 10,000 mounted samurais were a kilometer outside the Leaf Village. New dragons and buzzards had also arrived. Shino smiled, knowing that over 30,000 Neo-Combine soldiers had arrived in Konoha. We have triumphed. Konoha is doomed. The son of the Yellow Flash should have died by now, every Neo-Combine ninja or samurai thought. When they entered the city, they couldn't wait to pillage, loot, and despoil everything in their path. Many of them had negative thoughts about the Konoha women who were about to be captured. Charge. The Neo-Nu Combine's wave charged toward the village, the earth vibrating. Dragons and buzzards began dropping mayhem bombs on top of Konoha's last major defense, the mechanical 8-trigram formation defense. The Sky Air Force began strafing stranded Konoha ninjas and civilians after bombing the 8-trigram walls. Get some, get some, get some. Yeah, 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 exclaimed Toshiaki Noda, a Sky Chunin with a cigarette in his mouth. He was gleefully shooting at Leaf ninjas and civilians. Whoever runs is a tree hugger.
Whoever stands still is a well-disciplined tree hugger.
Kill them all, exclaimed another gunner, Tsuyoshi Mukai. How about we have a killing contest, Noda? Of course. Tonight's sake is on the losers tab. Incoming, exclaimed the dragon pilot. Mukai and Noda turned around when they noticed something coming straight at them, and their eyes widened like saucers. A pole with the words, "Do not smoke here. Penalties apply," pierced the dragon, causing it to crash and explode, killing everyone on board. Everyone's attention was drawn to the destruction of the carryall, and a massive killing intent washed over the Neo-Combine forces. The panicked samurai horses raised their front hooves high, causing some of the riders to fall off. Many ninjas and samurais, even the most experienced, paled and trembled at the killing intent and bloodlust emanating from the village center. They were all stunned and terrified as they looked at the source, a massive fox-shaped chakra avatar rising 3 kilometers in front of them. The Neo-Combine ninjas in the front section of the village were overshadowed. What on earth is that? Kyuubi no Kitsune. Many people exclaimed in horror at the sight. Didn't the yellow brat get killed by the Satori demon? Konoha ninjas. A feminine voice could be heard throughout the village, and many Combine ninjas recognized it as the 5th Hokage. Now that Naruto Namikaze has defeated the Millennium Demon Satori in the Iwa Gravemaker, it is time for us to fight back. We have a village to defend against invaders, and a war to win. Impossible.
Isn't Shingen Hattori with us?
A grass ninja exclaimed as they turned around to see their Iwa general crumble to dust. Earth clone. Everyone realized the Gravemaker had died, and panic spread throughout the Combine ranks. Shingen Hattori is dead. Our employer is dead, exclaimed a Ronin leader to his comrades. Against the Kyuubi and the Golden Slayer, we have no chance. Everyone run for your life. Before the mercenary leader could flee, Grass Jonin Zosui implanted a kunai in his head. You have a contract to fulfill, so you all stay to fight, and we have numerical and technological advantages over Konoha. We will win without a doubt, and if you flee. The Kusa ninja glared at the terrified Ronins. You will be Lord Orochimaru's pet snake's dinner. Shino's only reaction when he learned Satori and Hattori were both dead, as were the Sky Forces who had accompanied the Gravemaker, was shock. How could this have happened to them? He rubbed his chin, puzzled. The Neo-Combine network was teeming with terrified radio chatters. The Sky Marshal was a seasoned and brilliant commander who quickly regained his composure and began issuing orders. All air forces surround the Kyuubi at a safe distance. All ground forces, artillery ready. Do not be afraid, we have prepared for this. We have done many drills for months. He was aware, however, that many would be hesitant to confront the fearsome Kyuubi. It may be a Biju, but it is still an animal. We are men. We are ninja. Victory is still within our grasp, and if we kill the Kyuubi, we will be legends. He declared loudly and boldly to those under his command. The Sky Marshal barked, fire at will, as hundreds of dragons and buzzards surrounded the nine-tailed fox. Hundreds of figures with insect wings emerged from buildings to attack the Neo-Combine air forces, and scores of sky buzzards and dragons exploded. The enemy has fallen for the trap. You lead Fu's Shadow Legions against their air forces, Chome. Kurama exclaimed to his seven-tailed brothers. I will lead Naruto's shadow clones against their ground forces. Says Naruto. Got it. Exclaimed Nanabi. RAAWWWWRRR. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze in Kurama Avatar sent a powerful shockwave toward Zone 2, then used Wind Blast to swipe his right arm toward Zone 1 and his left arm toward Zone 3. Over 10,000 Neo-Combine air assault ninjas who were on roofs were blown off buildings. Hundreds of dragons and buzzards were knocked to nearby buildings or collided with one another, resulting in explosions. Lock on, Naruto said, looking at the Combine's second wave, when a 1-meter radius purple-black orb appeared on each of Kurama's tails. 9-tailed beast microballs were fired at 9 different enemy positions a split second later. There were 9 mushroom clouds there, and at least 4,000 enemies died. Chaos reigned supreme among the enemy ranks. Naruto leapt toward the Neo-Combine artilleries outside the village in his avatar. When the Kyuubi no Kitsune land crushed on them, many Neo-Combine soldiers exclaimed, Naruto made a few hand gestures in the middle of the artillery unit. Kyuubi fire release, Spitfire. Naruto Kurama spun 360 degrees as his mouth released a jet stream of flame at the enemy. Hundreds of Neo-Combine artillery soldiers screamed in agony as they were burned to ashes. The Avatar then slashed the Neo-Combine rank with his enormous long and sharp claws before stomping the ground a few times, scattering countless broken bodies across the field. Iruka Amino was visibly shaken after witnessing Naruto's carnage on the enemy. I was there 13 years ago when the Kyuubi's rampage happened. Many people were killed that night. The scarred nose special Jonin recalled painfully. However, this is far worse. Anko hugged him from behind, comforting him in his bereavement over the loss of his parents, and spoke to him in a rare gentle tone. It's Madara Uchiha who killed your parents. Now the fox is on our side this time, and he is protecting us. Come on, the Raikage and the Zone 6 forces will meet us soon. We're going to flush out the enemy inside the village while the kid wreaks havoc on those outside. We have a war to win. And after we win this war, she whispered into her fiancé's ear in a sultry voice that made, I'm going to ride you wild. She then licked his cheek with a mischievous cat's grin. Irashi Fuma, the commander in charge of the Konoha's left section, remained calm. He had a mission for his master, Lord Orochimaru, to complete. He directed his 3,500 sound and snow ninjas. Everyone, ignore the Kyuubi outside and keep attacking the wall. Irashi instructed everyone over the radio. Lord Orochimaru has dispatched assistants to deal with it. However, morale was low among the sound and snow forces. All of us are going to die. Kintsuchi thought when she first saw the Kyuubi no Kitsune and his wind blasts blew everyone off the building. Seeing the fearsome Golden Slayer inflict on the Combine's new wave outside the village solidified her decision. Everyone got to their feet, barrages of kunai coming from all directions. Many sound ninjas were killed when elite Chunin Jigumo Fuma noticed a group of leaf ninjas. The tree huggers are counter-attacking. Everyone take cover and fire back, commanded the sound elite Chunin. The Fuma avoided a kunai, which landed on a nearby post and exploded. Leader Jigumo. Kin and the surviving genins yelled at their platoon leader, but he's dead, as are 10 of the unit's genins. The Konoha ninjas were using the Uzumaki Havoc and Hellfire Seals to attack the sound forces in the street. She and a few genins were fortunate to be the first to enter a house before the attack. She took up a mirror and looked around, horrified that all 200 sound ninjas on this street had been killed. Only her small group survived, but only for a short time. Kin realized she was in charge now because she was the most senior ninja in this small group, and she was terrified. The Konoha company, which included a massive Akamichi, was approaching. She looked at the 3 younger genins who were crying and realized she had no choice but to wait for death. They're all over. Mama, I don't want to die. Please save us, Kami. Everyone, listen. Kin commanded their attention. We've lost this area. We'll have to retreat to a block behind us. There must be friends still there. All 3 junior genins nodded. There! Exclaimed a leaf ninja, and the 4 sound genins were showered with jutsus and kunai by all Konoha ninjas. Kin's team ran like hell and fired their M47 kunai launchers blindly. The Konoha ninjas pursued them for 3 minutes before being ordered to move against another large combine force nearby. They gave up the chase. We'll take a break here for. The sound Kunoichi panted as she found a safe dark alley. She turned around to look for her 3 teammates, but there were none. They're all dead. Exclaimed the Auto Genin as she realized they didn't make it. Hundreds of shadows flew over her. This is the end. I'm going to perish. Kin sighed in despair. The shadows, however, ignored her and ran toward the village outside. They weren't those teal-haired Konoha shadow clones with wings, she realized as she looked at them again. She recognized them because they had red hair. They were the vanguards of the vanguards, and they had been spearheading to the Uchiha compound by attacking the Zone 4 Mechanical 8 trigram formation wall. They were the undead ninjas of Uzumaki. Vanshin Anchor. The news of the Golden Slayer's victory over Satori and Shingen Hattori spread like wildfire, and the Neo-Combine fleet, as the third and final wave, was not left out. Everyone was very concerned. The messenger who delivered the report to the Orochimaru feared that the Supreme Commander would become enraged and kill him because he was the bearer of bad news. To his surprise, the snake Sannin sat quietly, tapping his fingers together as he quietly analyzed the situation, surrounded by his sound 4 bodyguards, all of whom were as still as statues. Orochimaru's slitted eyes looked down at the map in front of him, which showed the current positions of his forces. The 2 waves suffered heavy casualties, but even that Satori demon is just a pawn. Shingen's death comes at a convenient time for me. He'll be a serious problem if I want to resurrect the Namikaze and Senju clans. Yes, the deaths of Shingen and Satori shook the morale of my forces, but my commanders will hold the line. After all, I hand-picked them. In Konoha, there were over 30,000 Neo-Combine soldiers, including the Gravemaker's 10,000 samurai mercenaries. There was word that many of them were attempting to desert after learning of their paymaster's death, but the Combine's commanders brutally killed a few of them and warned the rest that they needed to fulfill their contract. Fear, the snake Sannin discovered, was an excellent motivator. The Supreme Commander addressed the captain of the Anchor Vanshans. "Captain Aruga, what is your ETA?" "60 minutes, my lord," came the reply. The Neo-Combine fleet had changed course, flying behind the Hokage monument rather than through the village gates. It would give them a back-and-forth pincer movement against Konoha. That is why the fleet arrived late. I understand, and I want the Yamato cannon ready to fire when we arrive in Konoha. Hello. The captain began giving orders to the crew. Snake Sannin turned to face his Sound 4 bodyguard leader. "Is the Berserker Corps ready, Kimimaro?" The Kaguya gave a deep nod. "They are becoming restless, Lord Orochimaru." A smile appeared on the Supreme Commander's snake-like face, heightening his sinister appearance. "All right, tell them to get ready for the drop." "Hi. Naruto Namikaze, you are no longer preventing me from achieving my goals or destroying my army," Orochimaru said as he looked at his table, specifically the hundreds of pebbles that represented his Edo Tensei ninjas. Hashirama and Tobirama are both destroyed, which is unfortunate, but all 300 Uzumakis are still intact, and the Uzumakis are immune to the Konoha seal defense. Orochimaru's cruel smirk appeared as his long slender fingers began to arrange the pebbles. "Boy, I heard you always wanted to meet your parents, don't you?" "Kukuku, now I shall grant your wish," the snake Sannin laughed cruelly. Zone 9, 10:30. The Uzumaki Manor had become the Konoha Foss's command center, and all the Leaf Ninjas had come and gone after receiving their orders. The Manor Dojo had been converted into a field hospital, and many of Katsuyu's clones were healing the injured. More Katsuyu's clones could be found outside the village, either healing or relaying the Hokage's orders to Leaf Commanders. Lady Hokage reported a sensor ninja. "The undead Uzumakis have stopped attacking the Zone 4 Mechanical 8 trigram wall and are moving toward the village outside. They're going to kill Naruto." Tsunade said grimly, and everyone stopped what they were doing to look at her. If Naruto is killed, Konoha's morale will collapse, and no one will be able to stop the Neo-Combine. The Leaf Village would be utterly obliterated. The Edo Tensei subjects were virtually indestructible and could not be stopped using conventional means. They were, however, vulnerable to Fuinjutsu, which is how Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju were defeated. The undead Uzumakis, on the other hand, posed a completely different problem. They were immune to the Konoha Fuinjutsu traps, making them unbeatable. Many Leaf Ninjas in Zone 1 had been slain by the Uzumakis, but their deaths had not been in vain. They had died buying Konoha time to prepare a few counters against them. Hinoka went up to the 5th Hokage. I'm leaving 3 shadow clones to manage the armory while I go out to help Naruto. Anbu Bird, much to everyone's surprise, dropped his right knee in front of his Hokage. Lady Hokage, please request permission to assist Hinoka and Lord Naruto in their fight against the undead enemy. Tsunade smiled at Tokuma Hyuga after a brief glance. That's an order, guard Hinoka with your life. Tokuma swore behind his mask that he would protect the Uzumaki girl with his life. Hi. After 3 minutes. Naruto. Hinata Hyuga held her lover's hand tenderly. The Golden Slayer was accompanied by the Byakugan princess as they annihilated the Neo Combine. When her commander put her in the Kurama avatar, he assigned her 2 tasks. The first was to use her archery to locate and kill enemy commanders, and the second was to keep an eye on the undead Uzumakis. They had arrived in front of the couple. Kushina and Mito, who led the undead Uzumakis, were both in Jinchuriki version 2 form, coated in red Kyuubi chakra with 6 tails and fox skeletons, respectively. Naruto and Hinata recognized one of them as Kushina because her hair was floating like 9 tails. Mom. A tear streamed down Naruto's right cheek as he finally met his mother, who had died in his defense. The blonde's reluctance to fight his mother gave the undead Uzumakis an advantage. The 2 former Kyuubi Jinchuriki fired tailed beast balls at the Kurama avatar, which Naruto intercepted like a baseball player and threw back at the Edo Tensei army, obliterating them all in a mushroom cloud. Hinata and Kurama noticed Naruto purposefully threw the Bijudamas as far away from Kushina as possible. When Kushina's adamantine ceiling chains came straight at him, Hinata yelled and shoved Naruto. No, Hinata! Naruto exclaimed in horror as Hinata took the hit in his place. I'm fine. The armor took the brunt of the damage, and I was only grazed in the back. To the brunette's surprise, the blonde punched himself in the face. He wiped the blood from his lips. I shouldn't let my personal attachment get the best of me. I'm an elite Jonin in charge of the midsection counterattack for Kami's sake, and you almost get killed because of my emotion. It's fine, Naruto, the Hyuga replied cheerfully. It's your mother. I'd hesitate as well if I were you. Thank you, my love. Naruto 9 Kurama's tails raised and unleashed another barrage of tailed beast microballs on the undead Uzumakis, obliterating Kushina. However, the Jinchuriki turned off his avatar. We can't fight them in this avatar anymore, even Bijudama is useless against them. Look, they're reforming now. Edo Tensei soldiers can regenerate, that's the most powerful and terrifying feature of Edo Tensei, and the forbidden ninjutsu makes them ideal vanguards, Naruto explained as he and Hinata landed. The undead Uzumakis were resurrecting, and they'd be ready in 2 minutes. Not to mention tailed beasts are vulnerable to Mokuton, Sharingan, and adamantine ceiling chains, Hinata reiterated Naruto's warning about Biju's flaws. Plan B now, he said, motioning with his hands, and a large cloud of smoke appeared. 3 shadow legions surrounded the couple after the smoke cleared. Legends. Naruto exclaimed to his 300 shadow clones. Defend yourself against the undead Uzumakis. They all activated the Wind Claws technique without saying a word, and double serrated wind blades appeared on each arm. Naruto held Hinata's hand and teleported back to the Chunin exam arena with Flying Thunder God technique, the Hiraishin tagged javelin against Satori still there, as he watched his shadow clones charging at the Edo Tensei Uzumakis to buy him some time. The majority of Satori's and Shingen Hattori's parts had been sealed into scrolls, which had been taken away. Naruto summoned his K-15 second in command, Chunin Neji, who appeared in front of him. Has everything been planned? Hi. All teams are ready. The Hyuga replied, handing his commander a terrifying demonic mask. Naruto examined the mask retrieved from the Uzumaki mask storage temple and nodded, indicating that it was the correct one. Tayuya had the other Uzumaki masks bound into a scroll. When the K-15 commander looked up, he saw two-man teams encircling and hiding on the arena roof: Sasuke Sakura, Renmara Tenten, Lee Yakumo, Sai Ino, Shikamaru Choji, and Shino Kiba. To the blonde's surprise, Hinoka was with Anbu Bird rather than Tayuya, and Tayuya was standing alone. "Good," said the K-15 commander to his XO. "You team up with Tayuya," Naruto said into Neji's ear, and Tokuma Hyuga read the blonde's lips. "You protect her with your life, and if she dies, I will kill you." The gentle fist genius paled and nodded fiercely, and to the ANBU's surprise the Golden Slayer turned around to face him. "And you as well." The Konoha Chunin exam was initially reported as a sporting event, but it has now become international news. Because of the news cameras in the arena, the entire world had witnessed Naruto's fight against Satori and Shingen Hattori. The fight scenes were being aired on all new outlets covering the Konoha Chunin exam, and anchors were discussing the mysterious blonde. "The young man is back in the arena," exclaimed Yoshi Tashiro, the Water News Network anchor. "Wait a minute, what is he doing?" Everyone turned to watch the blonde roll out two scrolls. When he stepped on one of them, his black battered armor vanished, revealing his bodysuit and ripped muscles beneath, much to the delight of many women and the envy of many young men. When Naruto stepped onto the second scroll, there was a flash and armors materialized around him. "Another fight!" exclaimed Yoshi. The news outlet's rating would skyrocket. As Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze was inspecting his new armor, seals, and weapons, a large snake with a sword in its mouth appeared. "Lady Anko wishes to give you this SS sword as a GGIIFFT." The blonde's eyes widened at the sight of the sword. "It's the Thunder God's sword. It belongs to Great-Grandpa Tobirama." He tested the sword, and a contented smile appeared on his face. Naruto thanked the snake and made a mental note to later question how Anko obtained this, because a group of very powerful ninjas, including his mother, were charging at him. "Are you okay, Naruto, about your mother?" Hinata inquired, concerned. Kushina's desire to murder her son horrified her. "I'm fine, Hinata," Naruto replied, closing his eyes. "She is under the control of that cretin Orochimaru, and she has harmed you. I will treat her and those Uzumakis as enemies." That tone. Hinata thought, her eyes widening. That's the tone of a Kumo soldier. Since they were kidnapped, Kumo has brutally trained Naruto, turning him into a professional soldier before his 5th birthday, and later a ruthless super-lethal ninja. When Naruto opened his eyes to see the undead Uzumakis land on the arena floor, she was correct. Many people gaped when they saw a pair of determined and cold blue eyes, the kind of eyes that said he would fight his adversary with zeal. Sakura Haruno breathed a sigh of relief as the Edo Tensei Uzumakis passed them unnoticed. She thanked the 2 layers of genjutsu protection that had been placed on them. The platoon, along with Hinoka, Tayuya, and the Anbu Bird, had been divided into 9 ninja teams, with one casting a genjutsu and the other ready to activate the fuinjutsu at Naruto's mark. Yakumo Kurama performed another genjutsu on the entire platoon, resulting in a 2-layered genjutsu. If the genjutsu didn't work, she planned to use the Uzumaki Advanced Individual Combat Kit scrolls. 5 minutes ago. Sakura was both happy and terrified. She was overjoyed because she was now with Sasuke. Fearful of the danger and the mission ahead, K-15 was ordered to set a trap for the approaching undead Uzumakis. Sasuke would set the trap with half of the K-15 ninjas while she and the other half cast genjutsu layers on their respective teams. She was pleased with herself because Commander Naruto had placed their trust in them to complete this task, and she was confident that she would succeed. When the pink-haired Kunoichi noticed her partner Sasuke Uchiha shaking and sweating, she asked him, "Are you nervous, Sasuke?" The Uchiha gave a nod. "This is 1,000 times more dangerous than when we faced Zabuza Momochi. But I want to see an Uzumaki fight firsthand." His 3 Tomo Sharingan eyes were bright with activity. Sakura was well aware that her crush had been obsessed with the Uzumaki clan since the Wave mission. If her Sasuke was intrigued by the mysterious foreign clan, she was as well, and she did some research on them using books purchased outside of Fire Country. The book Smart Pinkette discovered that Konoha taught their ninjas and villagers about the legendary feud between the Senju and Uchiha clans that founded the village, but never mentioned another. Except for Fire Country, everyone agreed that the feud between the Uzumaki and Kaguya clans was more legendary and bloody. The seas were always red after a battle between the 2 Seaborn clans. Even Sasuke acknowledged that the story of the Uzumaki and Kaguya clans was more legendary and brutal. Sakura wondered why, despite their destruction, Konoha ignored the history of their most important ally, Uzushio and Whirlpool Country. Was it done to boost village pride and morale, or was there something sinister going on? "Hey!" They turned around when they heard a familiar sound. "Fu?" Sakura inquired, surprised. "Do you know why you're here? Aren't you with Lady Hokage?" Sasuke was surprised as well, and his eyes asked the same question. "The Hokage is currently healing the wounded and issuing commands, and I will return to the Uzumaki Manor after I give you all of these," the teal-haired Kunoichi said, handing out 2 scrolls to Sasuke and Sakura. They were borrowed from the Uzumaki Armory. "Advanced Individual Combat Kit?" Read Sasuke from the scrolls. "Yes, it has advanced seals like anti-ninjutsu and anti-genjutsu shield seals, stealth predator seals, and so on. These are the Uzumaki clan's secret fuinjutsu," exclaimed the Uchiha heir, startling Fu and Sakura. "Naruto has made it clear that they can only be used by the Uzumaki clan." To Sasuke's surprise, Naruto generously provided the K-15 platoon with Uzumaki Fuinjutsu explosive havoc and incendiary hellfire seals for each raider's protection and combat effectiveness. The Uchiha clan heir secretly admitted that if he was the K-15 commander, he would not be so generous in granting Uchiha weapons. Nobody should have access to Uchiha clan secrets or anything. The raven-haired Uchiha recalled that during a platoon training, Sai requested shield seals that defeated Itachi, and Naruto vehemently refused, releasing some killing intent to make a point. "But I want to protect you guys, you're all my precious friends," Fu retorted firmly. "Naruto regards me as his sister, and I'm confident he will understand and forgive me for this." Because they were both Jinchurikis, Sasuke and Sakura understood why Naruto treated Fu like a sister. Isn't it easier to ask forgiveness than permission? Sakura pondered her best friend before asking a question. "How come each of us has 2 scrolls?" "Oh," Sai said, "it's better if everyone has a backup scroll." They're on their way. When 300 undead Uzumakis descended from the arena top with blades drawn, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze looked up sadly. Their soulless eyes and murderous intent strengthened his resolve. "They are my enemy, and I will defeat them," he said. As Naruto activated his Biju mode, golden chakra surrounded him. He screamed and threw his hands to the ground. Kyuubi wind release, maelstrom pull. Inside the arena, a maelstrom twister appeared, and Hinata shot an arrow tagged with a Hiraishin seal, allowing Naruto to teleport above the arena. The maelstrom sucked in all the undead Uzumakis. The maelstrom spun the helpless Uzumakis around like a washing machine, and they couldn't get out. Kushina and those with chain release fired their chakra chains at Naruto, refusing to give up on the undead Uzumakis. Hinata fired another arrow emblazoned with a Hiraishin seal higher into the sky, and her love teleported higher into the sky. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki opened his mouth and fired a tailed beast microball toward the arena floor. Meteors with tails. The micro Bijudama dispersed into a slew of smaller orbs, and the arena was cluster-bombed, inflicting damage on all Edo Tensei Uzumakis. Before commanding the K-15 platoon, the blonde Uzumaki donned the no mask. Now, K-15, use the 8 trigram damnation Fuinjutsu. Rin. Kiba yelled as he performed the first Kuji-Kiri sign, the 9 symbolic cuts. To the surprise of Inuzuka, Akamaru, and Shino, the seal turned orange. Hyo. Tenten turned on the second one. As Tayuya activated the third seal, Neji looked at her. TOH. Shaw. Sasuke made contact with the fourth seal. Kai. Ino yelled, and the kanji seal in front of her and Sai both lit up. Choji was in charge of the sixth seal. Jin. Retsu. Lee yelled and activated his seal, while Yakumo used genjutsu to cover the entire platoon. Zai. Hinoka triggered the 8th seal. Naruto received the 9th and final seal. The blonde Jonin first activated Kyuubi Wind Armor Thruster Mode 2 chakra arms appeared behind his back with palms faced the ground and generated wind chakra to keep him afloat in the air. He opened a large scroll, turned it to face his undead clan people, and yelled the final command in agony. Zen. The Zen kanji appeared on the scroll, and a spiral with the yin-yang symbol appeared on the ground beneath the undead Uzumakis. Hinoka began to cry as the scroll began to suck the souls from those Edo Tensei bodies. "Are you alright, Hinoka?" Takuma Hyuga inquired. The Uzumaki Damnation Fuinjutsu is a no-consequence alternative to the 4th Hokage's dead demon-consuming seal. It is still forbidden because it is used to imprison souls and torment them because they cannot go to the afterlife, and we now use it against our clansmen. They've been through a lot. Hinoka explained, her hands on her eyes, in tears. This is the only way to defeat this sick ninjutsu and prevent that jerk Orochimaru from resurrecting them to do his bidding. Takuma Hyuga consoled the Uzumaki girl, saying, "I'm sorry, your people don't deserve this. But your people will be freed soon, and I'm confident Lord Naruto will kill that snake bastard, putting an end to all this shenanigan." Hinoka raised her head. Even if Orochimaru is no longer alive, the battle is far from over. This Edo Tensei Jutsu is likely to be usable by his subordinates or other ninjas as well. Only those who have not gone to the Pure Land can be resurrected by this ninjutsu. After this war, we will go to Demon Country and request that the High Priestess transport our dead Uzumakis to the Pure Land, where Edo Tensei will no longer be able to enslave them. It can only be performed by Demon Country High Priestesses. Tayuya was also in tears. We Uzumaki clan have suffered a lot, our country was erased from the map, and the survivors were forced to flee because assholes were after us for our bloodline limits and Jinchuriki purposes. Our warriors gave their lives fighting for Uzushio, and now those turds have enslaved them as puppet soldiers. When will they be able to rest in peace? And when, for fuck's sake, is enough enough? It was Neji's first time seeing Tayuya in this emotional state, and he couldn't help but admire the girl even more. The Uzumaki took out her flute and played a soft melody for her clan's deceased members. The Hyuga thought the song was lovely. It was soul-comforting with a sad undertone. The proud Hyuga genius felt something wet run down his cheeks, which he touched and realized were tears, and he was saddened by the Uzumaki clan's tragedy. Without thinking, Neji silently hugged Tayuya from behind to comfort her. She said nothing, but she placed her hand on his in thanks for his help, and they both watched the near-invisible white specters that were the Uzumaki's souls, leaving their Edo Tensei bodies to Naruto's scroll. Their Edo Tensei bodies crumbled to the ground, revealing dead human carcasses inside, much to the horror of the present young leaf ninjas. Everyone was surprised to see two undead Uzumakis who had not been affected by the Fuinjutsu Kushina and Mito. The fox's chakra allows them to withstand the damnation Fuinjutsu. Naruto made a remark about his Jinchuriki forefathers. They were on fours, with red Kyuubi Charka and 6 tails, and it was only a matter of time before they broke free from the almighty Maelstrom pull. He was still in the air with his wind armor thruster mode active. 2 more chakra arms as large as Kurama's appeared behind the blonde's back. The 2 massive arms slammed Kushina and Mito to the ground, leaving them with no choice but to let out terrible roars. Hinata used arrows tagged with empty battery seals to drain the Kyuubi chakra of the 2 former Kyuubi Jinchurikis. RAWRRR. 3 arrows struck the Konoha Red Queen, causing her to revert to human form. The K-15 raiders were awestruck by Mito's beauty in her youth form before witnessing the Konoha founding mother's tragic sealing into the damnation seal. Kushina was the only remaining undead Uzumaki, and she is still in her Jinchuriki version 2 form. Hinata's arrows were deflected by her Uzumaki's adamantine sealing chains, so none of them hit the Konoha Red Death. The Red Death began her retaliation by entangling Naruto's massive chakra arms in her chains. Naruto's chakra arms vanished, and things got even worse when Naruto's Biju mode and Kyuubi wind thruster armor vanished as well. My chakra is sealed by Mum's adamantine sealing chains. When the blonde landed on the arena floor, his eyes widened as he saw a swarm of nano Bijudamas charging at him. He immediately assumed a defensive posture, dropping his right knee and extending his arms, palms facing the incoming bullet-sized Bijudamas. The nano Bijudamas vanished one by one in front of Naruto's hands. The machine gun-like attack created a massive cloud of smoke in the area, and the attack lasted 1 minute before abruptly ceasing. When he saw a mini-tailed beast ball emerge from the smoke, his eyes widened. Shit. Hiraishin teleported the blonde to a safe location while the Bijudama obliterated a large section of the arena. Fortunately, no one was present. Mum is on her way. Naruto braced himself for his mother's next attack, knowing her speed was equal to the 4th Raikage's. Strangely, nothing happened, and he recognized Hinoka's voice through his radio earplug. My chains have bound Lady Kushina. Oh my god. Hinoka, too, has adamantine sealing chains. Naruto exclaimed with delight. He appeared in a cross pose in front of an ensnared Kushina. Hinoka's chains were tightly wrapped around her arms, torso, and legs. The Red Death snarled and struggled to break free. The blonde took off his no mask, hoping his mother would recognize him. Hold on. Everyone yelled. Kushina launched another tailed beast mini-ball at his son. Fortunately, Naruto used the Flying Thunder God technique to teleport to a safe distance. Orochimaru has completely manipulated Mum to kill me. It's impossible to avoid. Naruto reappeared in front of Kushina and applied a battery seal to her, draining her Kyuubi chakra and reverting to human form, before the blonde seal master applied another seal to her mother's forehead. Mind-jack Fuinjutsu. Mind-jacking with Fuinjutsu? What exactly is it? Ino inquired, perplexed. The term, mind, piqued her interest. After all, the Yamanaka were a clan of mind readers. Everyone was interested in it, including Sasuke Uchiha. It's the solution to gaining control over Edo Tensei subjects. The rest is an Uzumaki clan secret. Hinoka stated emphatically. They don't need to know about Mindjack Fuinjutsu, which was the Uzumaki clan's version of Genjutsu Sharingan that could control the subject's mind and actions. Its ultimate form can even compete with the legendary Uchiha Kotoamatsukami. If word gets out about Mindjack, we Uzumakis will be in even more trouble because every hidden village or ambitious country in the world would love to get their hands on this forbidden powerful Fuinjutsu. What am I doing? Why am I being so restrained? Ebane. Kushina Uzumaki shook violently against her restraints before realizing they were chakra chains. Then, to her horror, she realized she didn't have complete control over her body. What is going on? The Red Death's attention was drawn to the sounds of footsteps, and she looked forward, gaping at the four approaching figures. Hitomi? Minato? No way, Minato and Hitomi were no longer teenagers, and wasn't her husband's soul trapped in Shinigami's belly? The other two she recognized right away as Uzumakis because of their red hair. They had to be Uzumakis. Minato approached Kushina quickly, hugged her, burst into tears, and wept over with the word, "Mum," which widened Kushina's eyes. Naruto? Naruto nodded, wiping his tears away from his face. Kushina was overcome with joy and burst into tears. You've grown up to be just like your father. She had a big foxy smile on her face, and the fact that she had come to life had been forgotten. But she hadn't forgotten how restrained she was. I wish I could hold you, my son, but why am I restrained? She was getting frustrated as she tried to move her arms. Naruto pulled out another seal, and Kushina recognized it as Mindlog Fuinjutsu, so he placed the tag on her forehead to inform her of what had occurred. In half a second, Naruto's logged memories flooded into Kushina's mind. Hiashi was pleased with Naruto's adoption, and her son grew up happily in the Hyuga household. I was concerned that Naruto would grow up alone. Thank you, Kami, for proving me wrong. Thank you very much, Hiashi. Hinata Hyuga, Hiashi and Hitomi's daughter, stood in front of her. Hinata resembled Hitomi in appearance. She was also enraged to see that the damned hidden cloud village had finally succeeded in capturing her son and Hinata. They wanted to use the children to breed Hiraishin, chain release, and Byakugan for their village, which scared her to death. I'm going to murder that Raikage. I'll teach Kumo a lesson he'll remember for a century. Is the fox's name Kurama? He didn't appear to be evil. Perhaps our mistreatment of him turned him against us. I would do the same if I were him. She then smiled because her son had discovered fellow Uzumakis Hinoka and Tayuya, as well as the massive destruction her son had inflicted on Kumo. Kushina was overjoyed with her son. Kushina knew Itachi Uchiha well and knew he was a good boy, so why did he become a criminal ninja and murder his father? It terrified her that Naruto and Itachi almost killed each other in Wave Country, and she went on to learn the truth about the Uchiha massacre. Danzo Shimura, you jerk. It made her smile again that Naruto's going to marry Hinata. She made a mental note to inform the couple that she wanted grandchildren. The last revelation had terrified her. The Combine, which had destroyed her home whirlpool, had returned under the leadership of Pito Orochimaru. She now understood why she was bound by Hinoka's chakra chains. I see. I've been resurrected. Edo Tensei of Orochimaru? Naruto nodded solemnly. Kushina's nails transformed into claws, and her right arm escaped Hinoka's grasp and slashed at Naruto, who dodged it just in time. No. It horrified Kushina, however, because she was being controlled to harm and kill her own flesh and blood. Hinoka tightened her chakra chains on the former Kyuubi Jinchuriki as red chakra surrounded her. Although my Mindjack Fuinjutsu isn't perfect, Orochimaru will soon regain complete control of you. The clock is ticking. Naruto said this with his eyes closed and tears streaming down his cheeks. He embraced his mother once more. I have no choice but to cast you into hell. I'm truly sorry, Mom. Don't feel bad, son. You must carry out your responsibilities. It is heinous for a parent to murder their own children, and I would rather be sealed into damnation than harm you. Kushina told her son in a gentle tone, but I have to thank Orochimaru for letting me know you grew up to be a good ninja and a good man of whom I am extremely proud. Minato, I'm sure. Kushina's gaze was drawn to Hinata. Thank you for your unwavering devotion to Naruto, Hinata. Come on over and hug me. Hinata hugged her as if she were her mother, and she let out another foxy grin. I'm delighted to call you my daughter-in-law. Please look after my boy. He may be a powerful and awesome ninja, but he still requires your assistance and support. Certainly, mother. Hinata sobbed again as she hugged Kushina. It's a lifetime of potential. Thank you very much, daughter. Please express my gratitude to Hiyashi and Hitomi for looking after Naruto. Then Kushina turned to face her living Uzumaki clan's women and said, Thank you, Hinoka and Tayuya, for assisting Naruto and Hinata in escaping Kumo captivity. It's an honor, Hinoka said, bowing deeply. In addition, your son saved my life. Uzumaki helps Uzumaki, Tayuya added as she bowed. We're like a family. Yes, you are. The Uzumaki clan is always alive as long as you stay together. Kushina gave a warm smile. I'm confident that everyone here will go on to become great nin. Kushina's Kyuubi chakra suddenly spiked exponentially, alarming everyone. Her right eye was reverting to its soulless Edo Tensei state. The time has come. Both Naruto and Kushina sighed, their eyes closed, as they realized their reunion was coming to an end. They would give anything to extend the reunion, but this was a luxury they couldn't afford because the village was at war. Everyone returned to their positions without saying anything, and the damnation Fuinjutsu was ready 15 seconds later. Naruto placed a post tagged with a battery seal in front of his mother, draining her of Kyuubi chakra, and then faced his mother with the damnation scroll. It was time to say goodbye, and everyone was quietly crying, including Sasuke Uchiha, Neji Hyuga, Shikamaru Nara, and Kurama. Mum, I adore you. Thank you so much for everything. Naruto yelled, tears streaming down his cheeks. I'll find a way to free Dad from Shinigami so you two can spend eternity together. I adore you as well, son. The Uzumaki clan's future is in your hands. As her Edo Tensei body crumbled to dust, Kushina spoke. She continued with her final words. Please bring my greetings to your mother, Sasuke Uchiha, and make your parents proud. I wish you all the best in life. Kurama, thank you for your assistance as well. Kushina's soul was sealed into the damnation scroll in 9 seconds, leaving a dead woman covered in a pile of earth, and this unknown sacrifice sported red-dyed long hair similar to Kushina's, which shocked everyone. Was that Orochimaru's sick joke on Naruto? Many K-15 members were perplexed. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, one of the world's most fearsome and lethal ninjas known as the Golden Slayer by friend and foe alike, fell to his knees and cried like a child at that moment. Naruto's radio crackled to life a few moments later. Are you alright, Naruto? Choza Akamichi, Titan squad leader, provided the voice. Yes, I'm perfectly fine. Thanks. The blonde responded. All 9 posts will be up and running in 30 seconds. Good, Naruto said as he rose from the ground, wiping the tears from his eyes and declaring that the time for crying was over. He could grieve later. Right now, he needed to be a commander because there was still a war to be won. Please let me know when they're finished, and I'll activate the firewall Fuinjutsu from here. Tsunade and Naruto intended to rebuild the Konoha firewall defense. The plan was motivated by two factors. It would first entrap and eliminate the Neo First Combines wave inside the village, depriving Orochimaru of at least 1/6 of his manpower. The new firewall barrier would prevent more enemy forces from entering, allowing Konoha to hold and await reinforcements before dealing with the 50,000 enemy when their reinforcements arrived. Just in case, the village had enough supplies to last 4 years. The battle groups of Kakashi and Asuma were returning, as were reinforcements from Suna, Iwa, Taki, and Nadeshiko, not to mention the mobilization of the Fire Country Army. But the next few hours would be crucial. Every second that passed and every action that was taken could mean the difference between victory and defeat. Konoha's defeat meant complete annihilation. There are 15 seconds left for the posts to be set up. Choza addressed Naruto, who was about to cast the barrier. 14, 13. High altitude above Konoha, 11:10. Using Nanabi's chakra, a special squadron of Fu's shadow clones pursued Shino's Iron Fist Dragon command transport. The chase had led them to the clouds and behind the Hokage monument. Chomei's attention was drawn to the sudden loss of half the squadron, and he examined what happened through the eyes of a surviving shadow clone, while the memories of the destroyed shadow clones returned to Fu. Chomei and Fu were both taken aback by what they saw, a fortress and a fleet of ships flying through the clouds. The cannon of the flying fortress was glowing and aimed at the Konoha Chunin exam arena. 4. Choza counted down as the Titan squad unlocked and began to plant posts near the destroyed Konoha wall. 3. K-15, you must leave the arena immediately. Fu yelled at the top of her lungs into the radio. Her words perplexed everyone. A split second later, Naruto stiffened as he noticed a surge of energy coming from the cloud. Everyone turned around and looked up when the blonde Jonin noticed a bright light in the cloud. Orochimaru smirked in his command center. An officer's voice filled the room over the intercom. "My lord, the weapon is prepared." The snake Sanin looked down at his map and knocked down the Konoha flag with a gentle tap of his finger. Fire. The supreme commander of the Neo Combine gave the order, and the Yamato cannon's powerful beam shot toward the center of the arena. Chomei immediately ordered Fu's shadow clones near the area to use the substitution technique to swap places with everyone in the area except Naruto, who was in the center of the arena and was too far away to reach. Except for Naruto, everyone else found themselves 400 meters above the ground and falling to their deaths. What are we doing in the sky? No. We're going down. SHIIIIIIIIIT. WTF the fuck? Wah. What the hell? Gravity is so inconvenient. Shikamaru yelled. Another group of Fu's shadow clones replaced them, and then a third group replaced them, allowing all of the K-15 to land safely, albeit roughly. Oh, Kami. Everyone stood up, shocked to see a mushroom cloud in the Chunin exam arena, as well as many buildings nearby. Naruto. Hinata yelled, concerned, that she hadn't seen him during the freefall. Was he still in the arena? She scanned with her Byakugan, and to her horror, her love was buried beneath the arena rubble. No, Naruto. The blonde elite Jonin had reactivated the firewall Fuinjutsu, which had been used to contain and fight Satori, but the erected barrier could only withstand the powerful Yamato cannon before it overloaded and dissipated. The arena collapsed on him as soon as it did. Hinata sighed, relieved that he was still alive and covered in Kyuubi chakra despite being unconscious. Is everyone okay? Neji, the K-15's second in command, spoke over the platoon channel, and everyone replied, yes, and reported their location. The Hyuga Chunin exhaled a sigh of relief that everyone was alive and well, but frowned that the platoon was dispersed across the Konoha zones, but at least they were in teams. He was in the company of Tayuya Uzumaki. The beam was so powerful that it destroyed many buildings on the border between zones 2 and 5, and it could penetrate underground. The Byakugan princess began scanning the areas and was horrified by what she discovered. Kami. My Kami. The underground shelter was also destructed by the beam. Inside there were people. Hinata Hyuga wept, horrified, that the Anchor Vanshin's Yamato cannon had killed over 1,000 Konoha souls. No. Many K-15 members started crying, and the rest were deeply traumatized by the atrocity. I can't blame them. It's too much for me. Takuma Hyuga sighed and closed his eyes. Lord Naruto, regardless of the odds, you will be able to save us from destruction, right? The clouds were turning a dark steel color. Something was erupting from them, casting long shadows over the Leaf Village. When things became clearer, every leaf or sand ninja, including Tsunade, Hiruzen, Rasa, Gaara, Makoto, and Shikaku, froze. 4 sky aircraft carriers sank from the clouds above the Hokage Monument, escorted by 8 sky destroyers and 4 snow Zeppelin cruisers. Anchor Vanshin was the last one to emerge from the cloud. The magnificent air fleet astounded everyone in Konoha. 1,000 new buzzards emerged from the aircraft carriers, accompanied by at least 100 new dragons. Fu was tired, but she quickly created 3 more shadow legions, swarms, because she wanted to protect her village with all her power. Over 600 shadow clones took to the skies to combat the newly arrived enemy forces. With the exception of Beetle, all swarms engaged the enemy flyers. Beetle Swarm, attack the ships first, then the fortress. Chomei told all of Fu's shadow swarms. The snow cruisers fired at Fu's shadow clones with their weapons hidden beneath their bellies, decimating the shadow swarms quickly. The deck guns of the 8 sky destroyers began to fire on the Akamichi Titan squad standing at the destroyed Konoha wall. They erected 100-meter-tall posts near the wall and waited for Naruto to activate the firewall Fuinjutsu. Everyone, return to your normal size. Choza dispatched his squad. The massive Akamichis were prime targets for the enemy. Maruden Akamichi was too late. He was hit by several rounds and died. The other 8 Titan squad members arrived on time and quickly rejoined their teams. The Sky Destroyer's next target was the firewall posts. Naruto's eyes widened as he heard Hinata and the other people's cries over the radio. He was trapped in rubbles and could barely move. He first activated his Biju mode, then spat a tailed beast miniball, blasting a gap. Before jumping out of the destroyed arena, the Jinchuriki used mini Bijudamas on his hands to create more space. The blonde was taken aback when she saw the Neo Combine fleet. The 4 sky aircraft carriers landed behind the Hokage Monument, crushing Konoha artillery and dozens of ninjas who couldn't escape in time. The grounded aircraft carriers had been converted into airfields, from which more buzzards were launched into the sky. The sky destroyers had landed next to the aircraft carriers and transformed into artillery, shelling Konoha. Snow cruisers flew above the village, strafing exposed leaf ninjas and dropping Neo Combine ninjas. An officer's voice was heard over the intercom on board the flying fortress. My lord, all systems are normal, and the cannon is charging as we speak. It will be finished in 88 minutes. And Kumo Hell Storm will be available in an hour. Anyway, I'd like an update on Konoha every 10 minutes because we have a lot of targets to destroy. Orochimaru said this with no pity or mercy in his voice. Yes, my lord, are there any further orders? The Neo-Combine fleet was raining death from the sky over Konoha. Orochimaru felt like a god as he looked down from above at the view. His next order was issued. Calling all berserkers. 11:20. I'm sure those ships and fortresses can avoid Bijudama, but not your BFG 9000. Kurama's advice was cut short because Anchor Vanshin caught his attention with an incredible amount of malicious intent. When Naruto and Kurama saw the flying fortress approaching, they began dropping caskets across Konoha. 9 caskets arrived in Naruto's vicinity. The caskets were opened to reveal a berserker, a human guinea pig in a senjutsu experiment that transformed them into homicidal monsters. When one of the berserkers saw Naruto, he let out a vicious laugh. Haha. Blondie, I'm going to kill you and your family and friends. The laughter, however, was short-lived, as Naruto silenced the berserker by severing his head from his shoulders. Then you have to die, the Golden Slayer said coldly as the berserker's head rolled to the other 8, their eyes widening. If you're going to kill someone, go ahead and do it. Don't just stand around and laugh about it. Naruto's quick killing of their comrades surprised and scared the 8 berserkers. Their terror, however, subsided as Anchor Vanshin continued to rain down more berserkers on the village. The majority of the caskets had been concentrated in the area, and as one of the caskets opened, the berserker leader, Jugo, was revealed. More than 500 berserkers had surrounded Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze with murderous grins, knowing that whoever killed the Golden Slayer would be regarded as the strongest warrior in the world. The berserkers howled for blood, eager to claim what they thought would be an easy prize, and all of them charged at him. Are you going to fight like a maelstrom, kid? Kurama inquired as to when Naruto would draw the sword of Thunder God. He now wields the Uzumaki Arashi and Senju Thunder God katanas. You're ready, the Golden Slayer responded calmly as he dropped into a battle stance, looking out at the oncoming horde of enemies, their eyes filled with murderous glee. But his eyes were only filled with cold determination, and he charged straight at the approaching foe. I'm going to kill every single one of these disgusting motherfuckers.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.